What's up guys, in this video we're going to be comparing Palworld at a bunch of different settings. Right here we're at 1080p across the board, and we're on low settings on the left, medium in the middle, and high on the right. And you can see on the high graphics preset we take a huge FPS hit, going from 42 FPS on medium down to 25 or so on high, and low is getting us pretty good FPS at about 55 right now. We'll just fast forward to the end, and right here I want to go ahead and just take the overlay away, and you can see the pop in here. On high it's much further. On low you can see where the grass is basically starting to spawn in right here, and then on medium you should get quite a bit more distance, but it's not high, but I think it still looks quite a bit better, and I'd personally recommend medium. And then here we are on very low on the left, and we're actually getting lower FPS than low in the middle, and there's a reason for this, and I wouldn't recommend very low anyway. If we get rid of that overlay there, you can just see it doesn't look good at all. Even this rock right here, you can see it on both low and medium, and it doesn't pop in till right here on very low. And so the reason we're getting lower FPS is it's not using any anti-aliasing. You can see on low it defaults to none, and then on low it defaults to TSR, and you can even see here we're getting about 40 FPS. As soon as we apply this, you'll see it's going to start jumping up. There we go, 44, 45, 46, almost 50 FPS. And if we rewind this a little bit before we change those settings, you can see here on low, about 40 FPS. And this is at 1080p, 30 watts. And in case you were wondering what the difference is, here we have FXAA, TAA, and TSR on the right. This is all at 900p, 30 watts. And we're on medium settings. And you can see FXAA looks pretty terrible. TAA kind of makes it a little too blurry for my liking, but it still looks decent. But if we take that overlay away, you can see it's just a little bit sharper on TSR. And the other thing that's probably the most important is we're getting about 38, 37 FPS between FXAA and TAA, and we're getting almost an additional 10 FPS using TSR. So that's the one I personally recommend in all the benchmarks moving forward. We're going to be using TSR, which it defaults to. And here at 900p, you can see the FPS is a little bit higher than 1080p, but it's not much. We're going to compare them directly here in just a second, but you still do get slightly more FPS at 900p. The game still looks really good. And you can see even on 900p here on the high settings, we're down below 30 for that average, but getting about 46 at medium, with low getting about 60. So here we are on medium settings, 15 watts, and we have 720p on the left, 900p in the middle, and 1080p on the right. Medium is the preset I would personally use. I think it looks really good, and it seems to perform pretty well. And at 15 watts, if you're trying to save battery, you could get away with 900p. You can see we're getting about 34 for the average. If you wanted even more, up near 40, you could knock it down to 720p. I don't think I would play this at 1080p though here on 15 watts, since it's pretty much staying below 30. And then if you have a heavy base, it's really going to lower that FPS even more. This is a pretty light area that we're benchmarking in, so knocking it up to 18 watts makes a pretty big difference. You can see we're basically getting the 720p FPS, about 40 at 900p now, and we're getting 46-ish, 47 on 720p. 1080p is right there at 30. You can see the average is showing 29, just flipped over to 30. It is possible. I still wouldn't really recommend using this. And then bumping things to 30 watts here, still on medium settings, you can see 1080p and 900p are extremely close now, and both are getting over 40 for the average. I do notice more stuttering. If you look at this frame time graph over here on 1080p, we're getting some weird graph over here where it was like micro stuttering. You wouldn't really notice this too much, but it's these stutters right here that you'll kind of see. So it seems like as we go higher in resolution, these stutters seem to happen just slightly more frequently. But wrapping things up, you can see we're at about 57 on 720p, 46 FPS for 900, about 43 for 1080. I also wanted to show y'all, here is the same 30 watts, 720p, 900p, 1080p. All we did was knock it from medium to high settings, and this is just to show you even 720p on high, max wattage, we're down in the mid 30 FPS range. 900p is not even breaking 30 here, and 1080p is down at 25 right now on high settings. So high is not something to really use, I don't think, not on the Ally at least. And then as one last test here, we're at 900p, medium settings, and all we're changing is the wattage here. So we got 15 watts here on the left, 18 in the middle, and 30 on the right, just so you can see the difference in FPS range depending on what you're wanting. And you can see here, going from 18 all the way to 30 is not a huge jump. It's about 6 FPS or so, maybe 5 FPS. Whereas over here, we're getting a 6 FPS jump as well, just going 3 additional watts from 15 to 18. So you really get a lot more bang for your buck on this lower watt range, especially with the Z1 Extreme chip. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.